Good morning, and thank you for watching the March 25th City of Janesville COVID-19 Community Briefing. This briefing is provided Monday through Friday at 8:30 a.m. My name is Brian Schweigel, and I'm the Planning Section Chief for this operational period. We'll begin this morning with a review of our incident objectives. First, safeguard the community, including residents, businesses, and visitors. Second, deter the spread of COVID-19 within our capabilities. Third, provide essential services to the community. And fourth, safeguard City of Janesville employees and preserve our city service power. We'll now hear from other members of the EOC leadership team, beginning with our operations section, Sergeant Robert Perkins.
Good morning, Rob Perkins, Operations Branch. City EOC continues to operate at level 2 activation. Each city department, division, and office are performing essential functions with sufficient staffing. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Situation Unit Leader Maggie Dar.
Thank you, Brian, and good morning, everyone. Maggie Dar, the Situation Unit Leader for this event. As of yesterday, Tuesday, March 24th, the Wisconsin Department of Health Services was reporting 457 confirmed cases of COVID-19 in the state, and we still only have 3 confirmed cases in Rock County. Our hospitals in town continue to test, and they report the results daily and as they come in. The city continues to monitor staffing levels very closely. At this point, we have no concerns about being able to continue providing essential services. We're also very closely monitoring our personal protective equipment, or PPE levels, and we're working with all entities available to ensure that our people have the equipment that they need to stay safe and protect the community. Just a couple of service updates. Our police department is changing some operations to protect their people as well as help prevent the spread within the community. So they've set up 2 police substations and also established some work teams. They're also separating their employees as best as possible to prevent a widespread outbreak within the department. Our Department of Public Works is also adjusting their operations. The Operations Division, Parks Division, Water Utility, and Wastewater Utility, all their employees are split into 2 shifts to prevent, to continue separated employees and ensure that there's not widespread outbreak within those essential service departments. Per the governor's order yesterday, all of the playground structures in Janesville are closed now. Our Parks Division will be putting up signs in the near future to remind people that those structures are closed. But do remember that the park systems are still open. Please, if you have time and are able to, get outside, enjoy some fresh air, maintain social distancing, but the parks are still open. Thank you.
Thanks, Maggie. Next is City Clerk Treasurer David Godek.
Thank you, Dave Godek. I'm the City Clerk Treasurer. Just want to update the community on election information. Again, in accordance with the governor's order and the current situation, we encourage everybody to absentee vote. We are processing more absentee ballots than we have historically. So far through yesterday, we've issued 6,874 absentee ballots, and 6,636 of those ballots were issued by mail. To compare that to April of 2016, which was the last time we had a presidential preference election, we issued 2,464 absentee ballots that year and 942 by mail. We currently have received from March 13th through yesterday 6,155 requests for absentee ballots, and we have processed all but the ones that came in late last night. We're continuing to function. The EOC has provided us additional resources and staffing. We've doubled our staff to get through the elections and get through these absentee ballot requests. I would encourage the community to continue to request your absentee ballots, get those in sooner rather than later, and you can request an absentee ballot if you're a registered voter by going to www.myvote.wi.gov and make that request. You will need to upload a copy of your photo ID. One of the things that we've seen is people just sending us photos. We have to reject those and then get a photo ID. So if you can get the photo ID in right away, That'll get that process done quicker. Also, when you get your ballots at home, there's an envelope. There are 2 highlighted lines. One is where you need to sign it, and one is where your witness needs to sign it. Without those signatures, the ballot is invalid. We will try to contact you to get that corrected, but it could take some time, so it's better to get it done right. Thank you.
Thanks, Dave. Next up is Economic Development Director Gail Price.
Economic Development Director Gail Price. So the Economic Development Office is tasked with taking the lead on economic recovery now and post-pandemic. So what the EDO is doing is we're constantly monitoring rollout of new programs, and we're indicating those programs on our growjanesville.com website, where we have links to the various programs and those program applications. Again, the most significant of which is the Small Business Administration loan program. And those are available now. One thing that has changed since Monday is that they have chose to have a 1-year deferment on all payments. Those will be 3 3/4% interest for-profit businesses and 2 3/4 interest for a not-for-profit business that needs help. Also, the Blackhawk Region United Way has rolled out their COVID-19 Action Fund to help not-for-profits here locally. You can actually give to that fund to help increase their seed money, and then they will be starting to roll that out to various not-for-profits that are being impacted by this pandemic. Also, last night, the Senate and the White House reached an agreement on a $2 trillion package that would provide for some Americans $1,200 checks. It creates a $367 billion program for small businesses, a $500 billion program for industrial types of businesses, and then a significant boost to the unemployment fund. So these are all good things. Congress will be reviewing that later today, and hopefully by the end of the week, that is all buttoned up and available for everyone. One last note, with the governor's Safer at Home order, there are some changes with what businesses can remain open, but I will remind our citizens that restaurants that have takeout options are still open and available for your patronage. So certainly encourage you to patronize local restaurants that are being impacted by this. Thank you.
Thanks, Gail. Next up is our Public Information Officer, Molly Nolte.
Thanks, Brian. Good morning. I'm Molly Nolte, Public Information Officer. The city continues to send important public information about city services, closures, and other helpful community information on the city's website, via our press release emails, and on Facebook and Twitter. If you are on Facebook and you have a question, you can feel free to send that to us. We do have staff on Facebook every day, so we'll be able to get you a response. And if you're interested in our press release emails, you can sign up by visiting our website /email lists. That's an S on the end. The city has created a unique web page in response to this incident, and we keep that updated every day. There's community support, frequently asked questions, which we update at the end of every day. As Gail Price mentioned, economic development and business support information. And then we also have the CDC's website live kind of embedded into that website. So a lot of good information. It's the city's website /COVID-19. And remember to continue to get your information from credible sources. There's a lot of misinformation and kind of rumors that surround events like this. So please continue to trust government-sanctioned sites like FEMA, the CDC, the Department of Health Services in Wisconsin, and others to ensure that you're getting the best information. Those are the ones that we trust as well. And last but not least, if you have any other questions, please call our community support hotline. That's open every day from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. And that phone number is 608-373-6027. Thank you.
Thanks, Molly. Next is our Finance Administration Section Chief, Steve Waniger.
Good morning. Steve Waniger, Finance and Administration Section Chief. The EOC response team has logged 1,665 hours to date and we have captured expenses of $91,526.29. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve. Next is our Safety Officer, Battalion Chief Ryan Murphy.
Good morning, Ryan Murphy, Safety Officer. We just want to continue to remind people to clean their hands often, wash your hands often with soap and water for at least 20 seconds. It's very important that you give it time to work, especially if you're in a public place or after sneezing and coughing. If soap and water is not readily available, use hand sanitizer that contains at least 60% alcohol. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth with unwashed hands. We also want to avoid close contact with people who are sick. We want to create a space between one another that's at least 6 feet, especially when you're possibly around somebody that's high risk or ill. With our homes, facilities, workplaces, we want to make sure that we clean daily with EPA-approved cleansers. And high surface or high touch areas, we want to make sure we clean that more often than not. Lastly, we want to just remind everybody to keep an eye on each other. This is a different time for everybody. There's a lot of anxiety and stress that goes along with this sort of situation. So just keep an eye on one another, and that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Ryan. Next, we'll hear from Incident Commander, Fire Chief Rhodes.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Ernie Rhodes, Incident Commander for the COVID-19 response for the City of Janesville. I just want to thank everybody in the community that you are practicing your social distancing, you're staying at home. I think it's very important. I know we still have just 3 cases in Rock County, and that's since Friday, so that's a good news story there. And please just stay home and build a new routine. Some more good news. Police and fire calls are down. So that's a very important indication to me that you're staying at home, and it's good because we don't have a high service demand that if our personnel would get sick. As you can see, our city is functioning really well. We have a very good emergency operations team. We have dedicated employees that are committed to maintaining the function of government, and I feel very comfortable that as this progresses, we will be able to maintain that. We have been and continue to work with our partners in the community, such as health and hospitals, in planning for overcapacity of hospitals and also other essential services that our community may need. I want to remind you to call 608-373-6027 if you think that your neighbor, you haven't seen your neighbor out walking, or they're an older adult, or they may need help. Please call our hotline and ask us to check up on people if you can. If you're having trouble getting food or medications, give us a call. We're here to serve. And I just want to remind, we're all out of our routine. We absolutely are all out of our routine. Talk about it at home. Think about what's going to happen if somebody gets sick. And remember, if you happen to get out and about, give each other grace, give yourself grace, give the people around you grace, and it'll make things go a little bit better. Please keep a positive attitude. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is City Manager Mark Freitag.
Good morning, everybody. Mark Freitag, City Manager. Yesterday, Chief Rhodes shared with me an article that I think I want to share a little bit with our EOC team, city employees, and the community writ large. But this is a World Health Organization Director General's opening remarks at the media briefing on COVID-19 from 23 March 2020, so 2 days ago. And there's an excerpt in here that talks about how rapidly this pandemic can expand, or how rapidly this virus can expand. And so I'll just read the text. It says, more than 300,000 cases of COVID-19 have now been reported to the World Health Organization for almost every country in the world. That's heartbreaking. The pandemic is accelerating. It took 67 days from the first reported case to reach the first 100,000 cases. But then it took 11 days for the second 100,000 cases and just 4 days for the third 100,000 cases. You can see how the virus is accelerating. But we're not prisoners to statistics. We're not helpless bystanders. We can change the trajectory of this pandemic. Numbers matter because they're numbers matter because they're not just numbers. They're people whose lives and families have been turned upside down. And so that kind of hit home with me last night, and I just think that the timing is appropriate to reinforce the governor's Safer at Home emergency order. It's for real. It means business. It's intended to stop this cycle that we're seeing across the world right here in our own state of Wisconsin. And so I ask people to please follow those orders, those requirements as they're outlined in Emergency Order number 12 that the governor released yesterday and is in effect this morning as of 8 a.m. I would tell you also that you need to talk to your families to make sure that the families understand that, whatever contact you have outside the home, you're bringing back into the home. And so minimize that contact on the outside of the home so that you keep your home safe. And so life is going to continue. We're going to continue working through this. We're postured as a city to respond appropriately and to continue to provide resources to this community. But I would remind everybody that the Safer at Home order is exactly that. It's an order. So please adhere to it. And that will help keep the spread and the expansion of this pandemic here in our state, certainly our county and our city. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. This has been the March 25th City of Janesville COVID-19 Community Briefing, which is provided Monday through Friday at 8:30 a.m. Thank you for watching.